Hello, and welcome back to another video here in my series of Innisphere Assault Mech videos. This is the 90-ton Highlander, originally seen in technical readout 2750, which showcased a number of the Star League era light, medium, heavy, and assault and vehicles and such. If anyone's a tabletop fan, they'll recognise this mech instantly. Very odd sort of square head design, although not quite the TV head design. It always looked like a little TV or camera head design. Very cool looking mech, and this is the standard. I think this is the 732. Loadout, Gauss rifle on the right arm, 2 medium lasers, LRM-20 and SRM-6. Now, the Highlander, in the technical readout, it was described as being an urban fighter, being unusual for such a heavy mech equipped Jumpjets, which was essential for its role as a city fighter, by being able to literally jump on top of or over obstacles within an urban environment, and its weaponry was geared toward striking targets at good distances, with very little in the way of short-range defense, and most of that was probably aimed at taking out vehicles rather than mechs. So, outside, it doesn't really suffer any differently in Mechwarrior Online. I mean, I've removed the Jumpjets from my build. I could have put them back on. I think I may have upped the armour, which is still standard armour. I don't think it's Ferro. As such, it doesn't really suffer that much. I would say it works best as a range support, basically like a sniper with you know, a good punch to it at range, but not so much at close range when things get to brawling distances. Third person here, I really like the animations on the hips. You see its little legs snapping backwards and forwards as it walks, and I've got the mountain line camo, which I think at the time I was running this mech might have been new, and obviously never changed it. I quite like it. It got some earthy tones. As such, I quite like this mech. Although I probably will consider putting the Jumpjets back on just to give it that manoeuvrability. But yeah, most of this round in this video is me basically using it for its intended role, which is picking a spot and just letting them walk out in front of me, and I just hit them in the face with Gauss fire. Starts pretty early. There's DDC, I believe that is, and boom! Gauss rifle. That's one thing. I really love the visual effect for the Gauss rifle. You just see all those sparks fly up in the air. It's like this nice visual feedback that you've scored a hit. I really wish that a couple other big weapons like the AC-20 and the PPC had more of a visual effect at range, so you could see when you scored the hit. But yeah, so most of this is me pot-shotting at targets, and you can see the UAVs up there, and everyone's trying to shoot them down. There we go. I've got a fair amount of Gauss ammo in this. I think I've got at least 2 or 3 tons, so I've got a fair number of shots. And they've got a fair number of UAVs. There goes the third one in there. And artillery going off in the distance. So the mech can be built in a number of different ways. The Gauss rifle, I'd say, is pretty much essential though for the mech. It's one of the few mechs that legitimately runs a Gauss rifle. Highly effective as such. It's good armour. It's got a decent profile, although it's a very large mech and not particularly fast. It doesn't get its torsos blown off as easily as say the Atlas or the Battlemaster, those kind of things. For that reason, you can go stompy. You can take a few hits, and damage will generally, in my experience, just spread out quite evenly across the torsos, which is very good because it makes the mech very survivable, especially in drawn-out conflicts. Its downsides is its right arm. A lot like the Victor, really. If it loses that right arm, it loses its most significant punch, and I think it's always a prime target. A lot of people will try and aim for the right and left torsos because they are kind of squared off, so it's a nice easy point. But if you can blow that arm off, because Gauss rifles instead explode rather than the ammunition does, you can cause a lot of damage to that right torso that it's attached to. Outside of that, I'd say the mech is relatively good. I mean, you can see this. Ouch! Yeah, it's the Atlas I hit twice. I mean, that's 30 damage across that Atlas. just from 2 hits alone. Not the same spot, but still. It's 15 on each point of armor for that mech. And there's another UAV. Wow, this team came prepared. And I am not looking at my minimum range there. I'm trying to shoot it down. Airstrikes going off. I mean, if nothing else, this round is certainly showing off the support options that players can take. Every time you see red smoke, you get out the goddamn way because you're going to get your ass blown off. AC-20 rounds falling over and hit him in midair. Yeah, and the Nova immediately regrets his decision, and I think I just took his arm off. I do have to admit, as much as in game, I will probably be sat there going, you know, fucking Gaus rifles, everyone's got them. They're so effective at the moment, and I've got this feeling that PGI will probably nerf them at some point. I think they're going to look at telemetry and see how many mechs are running Gaus rifles, and they're going to find a way to nerf them again. I'd say one way is to, I don't know, get rid of ghost heat, bring them back to tabletop values. Just a suggestion. But that aside,
target acquired.
The Highlander's other builds obviously can feature an emphasis on laser weaponry. You can put a couple of PPCs in that right torso. 90 tons gives you a lot of weight to play around with. XL engines you can work if you really want to get the most bang out of your buck, with the drawback of losing a side torso kills you. It can also be an LRM, but I've seen plenty of Highlanders with a good mix of LRM slots in their weapons loadout. Generally though, when I've seen Highlanders, they've been packing a long-range, high-damage sniper loadout, so it'll be a Gaus rifle with a couple of PPCs, a Gaus rifle with a couple of ER larges. It's never anything built for close combat. Generally the Highlander does seem to have fallen into that role as being a long-range assault support, which I guess it kind of fits that. You don't see many brawling Highlanders, but it's not to say they can't brawl. I mean, shit, at 90 ton you've got a hell of a lot of armour going for you. And, you're still quite an intimidating like image on the battlefield. I mean, you don't really want to go up against one of these things in a one-on-one fight, unless you're in another Highlander or something bigger. I mean, even in a light mech, I still wouldn't want to take the risk of getting hit by that Gaus rifle at close range, because if it doesn't outright like knock me out of the fight, it's gonna leave me reeling for the rest of the match. So with speed tweak as well, depending on the engine you pick, you can get decent speed out of this mech. You can see I'm kind of motoring along here, little head bob, cockpit, sort of stomp along. Yeah, we finally pushed this enemy team back. I mean, I also feel this video it's longer than most of my other ones, but that's because this was a win that felt like we really achieved it, because it was more of an attritional battle, and they took up a defensive position, we took up our position. You know, there was back and forth of an exchange of fire, and you know, we just had better shots, or they had a few people that made a couple of mistakes based on their positioning, and yeah. The round ends up going our way. I was quite pleased with it. Oh, so inadvertently, you'll see later. There's a friend of mine from Tor, Grey Black. So if you end up watching this, hey Grey Black, it was good gaming with you. I didn't even notice it. We didn't even notice each other until the end of the round. So there's a bit of a small chat exchange there in the base. You get to see his Timberwolf in pretty bad shape, but it's a good show off of the visual effects for damage. You know, there's all kinds of bullet holes in your mech, like almost sticking out the arms, and you know, like wires dangling down. God, run out of things to really talk about now. I guess the length of the video has really stumped me on this one. Oh, it's that Centurion. So yeah, the rest of this is base capping and hunting down the turrets, really. At least the turrets actually give you a half decent reward. 50 XP per kill, and that's some C-builds. 150 XP is more than worth it. I mean, if you can get in there and take out 2 or 3 turrets, it's a good amount of XP. It's a good way to one of those basic skills. I would say the base turrets do piss me off though with this infinite range LRM crap. I honestly think if you want to have those to stop base rushing from lights or fast moving mechs, make them street turrets. I wouldn't even mind if you decided to sort of break the law a bit here and just make them like streak SRM6 turrets with a faster cooldown. Because I don't mind a base rush, I just hate it when you're on a map like Caustic, for instance, which is a relatively small map, and one team will try and push around the Caldera side, and the next thing is they're getting LRM fire all the time because the turrets are firing on them. And I may be wrong here, but I think turrets can give you away as well, so they know when you're there. I mean, aside from the fact that when those turrets get attacked, it says base is under attack, but yeah, they can really ruin your strategy, and it's only on small maps that happens. River City, Forest Colony Snow, and yeah, Caustic. I think they're the main offenders. Not so much on the other later maps. There you go. There's Grey Black. You get a better view in a second. But yeah, since we're near the end, the Highlander is an expensive mech, granted. It will cost you a lot in upgrades, obviously, and any other tweaks you want to do. But if you like snipey, standoff, long-range kind of fights, rather than stomping in for a brawl, this is a pretty good mech. It looks good. It's kind of nice to pilot. It might be even better when they add the quirks to it. They'll probably give it some Jumpjet quirks when they get around to that. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for brawling, but it's not to say it couldn't be used for that role. But yeah, its sort of default loadout is kind of pushing in that direction. So yeah, good mech. I quite like it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to everyone who subscribed. Thanks to everyone who friended me. If you see me online and I'm not in a group, just ask me. Ask me if you want to drop, and we'll figure out something for teams.